kind, one of a kind, and we are all one and the same in our unique ways. Saying we are all one of a kind, one of a kind, and we are all. Sing it from my heart, sing it from my heart that I've heard, sing it from the lessons I've learned, and now I sing it to you, to you. No matter how I burn, no matter how I burn, it's all learning in the end. I said I'm learning, but it's never the end. I know you feel me holding you down. Let me feel you holding me back, 'cause we're one and the same. And we are running from a continent land. One of a kind, one of a kind, and we are all one and the same in our own unique ways. Sing we are all one of a kind, one of a kind, and we are all running from the continent's land. 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 Sing it from your heart, sing it from a heart that you've earned, sing it from the lessons you've learned. Now come on, sing it to us, to us. No matter how you earn, no matter how you burn, it's all learning in the end. I said you're learning, but it's never the end. I know you feel me holding you down. Let me feel you holding me back, 'cause we're one and the same. And we are running from a continent's land. One of a kind, one of a kind, and we are all one and the same in our own unique ways. Saying we are all one of a kind, one of a kind, and we are all running from a continent's land. Running from a continent's land. Running from a continent's land. Running from a continent. Running from a continent.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another What's Cooking with Plunge Comics. Today, I've got a bunch of stuff I want to talk about. This is a very weird early time for me, and but I thought I'll do that since I'm awake. I was up working on some logos and some, Spanish and Portuguese translations for our cover, and I'm going to show you in a sec. One of the awesome things is like receiving artwork. It's one of the things I just love, right? And then getting translations for those, the works here. So this is, the guys had done this the other day, but I wanted to take the weekend off. So I took yesterday off and I took Sunday off because I've been working 7 days a week, which is kind of weird because it's kind of become a normal because I work for myself, right? So I do I run my own timetable schedules, whatever I want to do, I do based around whatever I'm need to do that day, right? Or whatever I feel like doing that day. So today, I was able to, get the translations of Skype from Tomas and Louise, and this is from Tomas, and this is the Spanish. I don't know. I don't speak Spanish or no Portuguese, and my second language was Hindi. Which should be my first language. I don't speak that well either. So I just love being able to do this with my artists. It's just something really special for me because, check it out. Like, look at the names on this friggin', on this cover here. You got Francisco from Italy. You got Edwin from America. I think he's Hispanic, or I'm going to have to ask him outright because I don't really know, and I don't like to make assumptions, right? Because that makes it's basically what assumptions means, right? You make an ass out of you and me, right? So the other one here is TC Rotero, who's Tomas. Tomas is doing working on a comic book called manga/comic book called The Tortoise. And I just got some amazing artwork to show from that as well. He's been working on the character profile pieces now. I mean, he's already done all this stuff, but like I wanted him to do like actual stand-up profile shots, like pin-ups that I can use on cards, I can use for promotion, I can use for pin-up, or I could color them in and just do like a kind of giveaway things like that, right? So this is amazing artwork for the Spanish translation version of our comic book, right? And I should have got him to do like a Spanish translation of that as well, but doesn't matter, right? I just love to leave the original artwork the way it is. So this is the cover for the Spanish version of Robot Nation. So I hope you guys are enjoying seeing what artwork we've been able to show you guys from what we've been able to put out here on social media, on YouTube, on our channel here, on Twitter and so on, right? To show you guys what we've been up to. And so the other one I will show you is the cover. No, that's the original cover. So that's without the translations. So this is a translation for the Portuguese version, right? I showed you guys like the artwork the other day, but now I'm going to show you the translation, what it's going to look like on the actual, on the actual cover when you go to buy it. Because remember, these are your A, B, and C covers, and this one here is, of course, a C cover, which is Portuguese, and it's got the Portuguese language here, right? Primeira edição and independente. I don't know, I didn't even try that. So basically, standalone, first issue standalone, 44 pages, right? And it's just, I've got two of my friends, people I actually know, an artist from Australia who I interviewed, and she's amazing, not artist, a writer creator from Australia, Nicole Kane, right? Creator of Fox and Hound. Do check that out. You can check out her stuff on I think it's under Nicole Kane or Panda Kane or something like that on Facebook. And also, you got Michael Batur, who's a horror writer from New Zealand, award-winning. And so I sent out review copies and said, hey, look, I would like to have some some feedback and maybe a one-liner to say, what did you think of it, right? And so that was pretty cool. I got my friends to basically, I didn't actually go and say, hey, do I write a good thing? Because I wanted to know exactly what they thought of it. And so it was pretty cool. And that was really cool to see that they liked it. Because, nobody ever puts like I don't like this book sucks on the cover. So, but I did send it like about 11 or 10 or 11, 12 maybe review copies out to folks who say, maybe check my grammar, how does it read, what do you think about the story, is it does it work, is there anything corrections I got to make on this? So that's Robot Nation. So I want to show you some artwork from the most recent that's just arrived basically this morning, right? So here's some work. Let me just find it first. Go and open it up, and the folder needs to be opened up, and so it's 2024, because the ones I've just shown you from is 2023, right? So here's 2024 folder, and there's another 30, 40 titles in there. I'm just hoping that most of these get done before I pass on, right? Because the thing about like being a writer, creator, and coming up with all these titles, they take time. There's a lot of work put into them, and a lot of people working on them, and so it takes a lot of time to to basically bring it all together. Artists are working around the clock, in every spare moment they have to work on them, and so we're going to talk about AI art in a minute as well, because I think that's very important to think about, discussion, because like I said, I work with a lot of different artists, and they have different talents, and they're very skilled in what they do, in their own, in what their style, right? The way they've gotten to develop their skills, the stats and stuff like that. And to see that somebody's going to go, hey, I want this, I want to go into AI, put in do this, and feed all this other person's artwork into it, and go, oh, now do it in that style. And now they go, oh, I got an original piece of work for myself that I can now sell, but it's not theirs. The saddest thing is I heard that someone this morning came across my Facebook feed. They said that they had one of their country's bands won the most prestigious art awards in their country for an album cover for their music, which was AI artwork. That's why I like to show you guys. I was going to say showing you guys, because I was just thinking about what's happening here in the back of my head. Like, is that what's happening? Just basically, thinking about how I love showing you guys these works that are being done by our amazing, skilled artists, human beings, not some artificial intelligence that's stealing from everybody else to create this, right? It's just sad, because you look at the amazing work that Joachim is doing here on Fantastical Romy. It's just, blows my mind that the skill set, right, that's coming into this and stuff. And, just the workload that, coming in here, putting together what I write on the text, what I'm imagining in my head. And he goes out there and draws up some sketches, works around how that page should flow. And then, even sometimes what I'm writing might not flow well on a page, and he'll go, hey, how about this? And I'll work with my artists, closely, because we're creating art. Art takes time. Art takes time. Art takes skill. And you have skilled people working. When you have skilled people working with you, you got to allow for them to be skillful, to bring their best A game to the table. Whereas I myself have to bring my best, A game to the table. I got to be able to bring the best work I can as a writer, as a creator, to this comic book. So because then when we put this together, we can both be proud of it. That we can say, this is our work, right? This is our artwork. You know, this is what we're going to put out here and show you how amazing, you know, not amazing, how talented we are, how skilled we are, how hard we've worked to try to entertain you through the stories that we're writing to bring it to you. So, you know, Fantastical Romy, this is part of the Zoolandia world, right? Of title of comic books, and this is the first issue, and about a young girl, right, who's always dreamed of kind of like a Harry Potter kind of thing in their world, you know, being a witch, and then she, you know, kind of grows out of it, sort of thing, and lives in a, because she's a solo child, lives in a dream world. And so I'm kind of like that. I've been kind of like that myself, but this is the only, I actually just thought about it right now, this instant, that yeah, I'm kind of like her. Not that I was trying to go out of my way to write something like that, but like where when I was a kid, I'd go take off to the forest, you know, to what do you call the forest, the bush behind a, you know, behind our house, and just go through, you know, go be myself, go throw stones in the river, go hunt, you know, fish for eels. You know, I hope you guys know what eels are. Those little rivers, you know, river kind of snakes. You know, you can eat them. The black slimy things, and you know, some of the biggest ones I've ever seen is like this thick, man, like huge. And so, you know, she's kind of like that in the sense that she's like lives in her own world sometimes because she's an only child. And you learn a bit about who she is through the book, through the first issue, but you also learn about the other world, right? The fantasy world, and about Romalina and about her world, right? And so things that go on there, you know, this is Romalina here. This is a giant lizards based around our, what we call, what are they called? They're just giant lizards, or they're wyvern. I think they're wyvern, right? Giant lizard without wings, like a dragon without wingless dragon. And you know, just look at some of the amazing artwork that Joachim's put into this comic book, into these pages. You know, just the skill. It's just amazing. You know, look at the details, man. The inks here and the pencil work, you know, that he's inked over and stuff. It's just, oh, I love this. Just see, whoops, go forward again. You know, seeing the actual size of, what's his name? Oh gosh, now I forgot his name. It'll come to me soon. All right, but you can see how tall he's almost his height of his wings, like just open up like that, you know, like this. You can see that it's like top of the trees. So it's quite a giant little, you know, I guess, paws on his hands. You know, it's just so cool. It's just cool as. I just love these pages. Oh, look at, this is the first time I've seen this. I just got this morning. Oh, look at that. Wow. Seriously, this is the first one I just downloaded just moments ago, like a couple of minutes ago. He just sent it through this morning, like 15 minutes before I went online. So came on here. Look at that. This is an actual place in New Zealand, in my city. This is called Mount Parahaki. So this is the way we based it around, is like Whangarei City. And this is Ruakaka out here. No, sorry, Onarahi, sort of like this is a riverside, or Onarahi's out here. And so this is where our city is, right over here. And I live over here, way to the bottom left. Well, it'll be right to you guys, right? So I think. But yeah, so all these trees here, these are actual New Zealand native trees. They're like the ancient trees of New Zealand. They're like the most precious trees, right? They're called the kauri. They're when you cut them and stuff, like the timber is golden. And that's what I have. I don't think I have any, but I used to have little pieces of them around. I actually made a clock for my parents out of that one time, out of the wood, because I used to work as a sander and a spray painter for framework. So lacquer, spray lacquer on frames that I've just sanded. So for mirrors, for picture frames, giant stand-up mirrors, for like little photo frames, as well as like actual frames, like for like giant exhibition, gallery art for canvas frames. And And that was here done locally. This was like around about 90, 95, 6, 7. I think I spent a year and a half there doing that. Used to work 5 days a week there. They come home for the weekend and go back out again. And it's the actual areas around way back past this way here that I actually worked at. This is like about, 1990, so about 94, almost 20 years ago, no, 30 years ago. But this is so awesome, just like she's standing here looking across to that. Oh, now I know where she is. Look at that. It's awesome. This is what I mean, man. Like actual artists, right? AI art, whatever it is, taking everybody else's work and making it. That person who's using those prompts, the artist, he couldn't do this. And therefore, he's using a machine to try to do that. But like, man, look at this work. Because I actually, I want to show you guys something, what this is based off. Because I went and I did a mock-up so that let me just get it so that Eva Kim could see in my head, right, what I was trying to, because how else is going to know what I'm trying to think of here, and what am I trying to get him to understand. I want him to draw up, to sketch up, to come up with on the page. And so I did a mock-up. Let me see, where is that mock-up? Yeah, so this is kind of the mock-up. Why is it sideways? Oh, that's because it's one of those pages. Okay, let me just... Well, one of those pages, I mean, it's a project page, so I'm going to bring it up in Clip Studio Paint. Oh, yeah, it's there already. Now, how do I swap you around, buddy? Nope, the other way. So this is it here before, to give Eva Kim. Hey guys, thank you for watching. If you're just joining us, cheers. So this is it here before. Wait, where'd you go? Oh, it was the other window. It's the other window. No. Did you just disappear on me? No. Wait, that's not it. Yep, that's not it. How'd you just disappear on me? I thought I just... 1 second, I know what happened. It's that freaking second page again on me. I mean, second screen. Right. Let's hope this is doing it right. So there it is. Yeah, it took a bit while to come on. So here it is. So this is my mock-up of that, like copy paste, cut out each little friggin' cowrie tree and place it around this makeshift, idea of a concept, piece to show what I wanted this little, this mountain palace for the elves, right, to live in. And so this is from, the comic that we're going to be putting up soon-ish. We've got timelines and stuff. So when artwork gets done, they get, because Eva Kim's actually inking his own work. So we'll get a colorist and then we'll put it out there, get it ready for Kickstarter, digital, and then put it for Kickstarter in color. So black and white and digital for our web store. I'll put a link in the chat for that later. So this is based on our actual real place from right here, right? So New Zealand, it's based on New Zealand, this whole world of Zealandia. And so you can see here, this is the, this is how I kind of wanted this place to look, because we have two bridges, to kind of like back and forth. And then there's like a huge tower bridge kind of thing, not tower, no, like one of those bridges that opens up like that, divide. So what we're basically seeing, and I'm going to show you the image again so you guys can see what image I'm talking about on the page, is basically this part here of that. And so here is the artwork again. So you can see this beautiful artwork by Eva Kim again. So that's just, you know, it's just brilliant. What page is it? I can't tell the page. Sorry, it must be like, I think it might be 23 or maybe 22. But yeah, so you can see, you know, you can just see the how the carrot trees, you know, and there's a whole story behind everything that's on this page, right? Like, how did the carrot trees get there? How come they've got this, you know, these walls here, and their palace is up here, and then everything that happens in this page has been written down and described in a way so that later on, when I'm actually needed to go back for ideas, I know what's there, right? And this is what we call like in writers, we call the writer's Bible. Each little new information that I come up with, I go and jot it down somewhere, because then it's like, I know that's what happened there, right? Because right now I'm actually, for this book, I'm writing a 100-page kids book. It's kind of like, because this is kind of like an all ages book, kind of like a PG comic book, fantasy comic book. And so with that, I decided I've been wanting to do a kids book for a long time. Right, you know, had one called The Cat, the Wizard, and Woman, and became a poem. And I was like, oh yeah, that's all, just leave that to the side. And I was thinking, you know, I did a novella, 4 novellas, like about 120 pages each, about 30 odd years ago, like in the 2000s or something like that, or mid 2000s. And so, not mid 2000s, yeah, around about like 21, 24, something like that. And I've just put that aside. It was called Chorus Journey. This whole, you know, probably make up about this thing, right? Just if we like a Stephen King book thickness, right? Standard like 100, because 100 pages right around about that. So I think I got up to about maybe that thick, you know, give or take. And so I left it. And so, but I was thinking about, like, earlier, you know, about a month ago, about doing a kids book, and I was saying to people, and they said, "Oh, you should do it." You know, I said on my social media, I said, "Oh, I've been thinking about it," and they said, "You should do it, man. Just don't put it off," right? Because I'm one of those guys who just comes up with an idea, puts it aside, and then carries on working. So, which I also did in this one, right? I went and wrote 10 pages, boom, 10 chapters. Like, basically, it's like 10 pages, right? And so what happens is you have a page, and then on the next page, you have your text. And so you break it up about what's happening in that text, and you put it into a picture. And so it becomes like a picture book, what we call, you know, what in the Japanese call a light novel, right? It took me a while to figure that out, man, because I always thought it was just a kid's book. But it's the actual title for it, where it's like you get a picture and you get a story, you get a picture and you get a page story, and so on. Right. So I've done about 10, and I wanted to do 100. So the way when working with this book, I was like thinking, you know what, the best way to do it would be that, like, we could actually look at this beautiful artwork, man. Right. Every time I see it, I get amazed at at this book, and I can't wait for you guys to be able to see this in full when it's finished, right? When Eva Kim delivers all the pages, and I'll check it onto Clip Studio Paint, put it on my speech bubbles and stuff, design the book up, like pace out like how it's going to be, and be able to show you, you know, put it out there in digital black and white first, and then get a colorist to color it. And gosh, man, I want, you know, I would love to like look something like this, but with you know, it's kind of, I don't know if I think this would look more like what our, which I'll show you soon, which our manga would look like, because this is basically a manga, right? It's kind of like a Western manga. All it is basically manga art style, right? Just color. That's why I call it a Western manga, which is what our, you know, the tortoise will be like, the 4-issue comic book, which is around about 110, 120 pages in total. And we'll be releasing it like this, basically, like a graphic novel. as well as singles, because it's got some really cool variant covers for it. So it's like, yeah, I'm still going to do the single issues as well. So with doing the children's book, which is kind of like, you know, basically another, like a young adult book, rather not like a children's book for Zealandia, it meant that I could basically kind of step 5 years in the future, and then I could like write back about the people that, you know, the stories build up, which then that allowed me to think about, you know, now if I've done that, now I can make sure that as I build my story up, you know, from this story, that there's specific things happen in it. And that's how, like, I think that's how I work. Like, I don't know how everybody else who's creating and writing stories up there. Hey, good morning, man. I was like hoping to get this done before you do your spins this morning. I got to check out the Parliament. I had a bit of a listen of the Parliament thing. So guys, check out Nathaniel's channel. He does Secret Spins. Going to be very, you know, kind of has become like an acquaintance. We've been chatting a lot. So yeah. Now, trying to figure out, how do I make you a how do I make you a moderator? But I don't even know how that works. But I think you have to be able to put somebody to be a moderator, right? And also, like, I want to have Art Victim and other people that, you know, to be moderators, because I think you have to get to a certain number. So please share that, you know, if you enjoy what we're doing here, do share out the link, because that way hopefully more people will get to be a part of the channel, follow us, and get to see some beautiful artwork and to see what we're up to. Now I want to play you guys a video that's come through in the YouTube chat. Yeah, so I did that, and it basically doesn't show it. It goes delete comment, put user in timeout, delete. I'm not sure how that's, yeah, I don't know. I'll try not to delete your comment or ban you by accident do that. So there is a video that came across. Actually, there was actually not a video. I'll show you guys the link for, the post for this comment and this video, right, about AI. And it's because someone just lost a job, and I know a friend of my friend, like one of my artist friends, my artist friend, Tomas's friend, she lost her job due to AI. So I want to show you guys, this is what came up, right? So I'll just show you my Facebook page. One sec. This is the one here. What time was it done? How did you guys share it, man? Here we go. Right, so here it is. So Kika is the name of the gentleman, right? And this is artists. This is from a page called Artists, a group page called Artists Against AI, what I call FARTIsts, right? Fight artists. So yeah, not really. Sorry. But so this is what he's saying, right? Let's bring him up. He goes, this dude lost his artwork. Sorry. Let me just grab some drink. One thing I noticed when I'm editing videos and I hear my voice again, I realized that all the years of smoking, about 20 plus, and I quit about 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago, 2.5 years ago. I can't even remember. When I quit, I went cold turkey, like boom, because I tried to go with vapes and stuff and just didn't work. And so I just went cold turkey. That was the hardest thing. And I only started smoking half a smoke because I was running around the house looking for tobacco and the tobacco pieces. You know how it is when you get little bits there and you wrap it all up, and it was like the worst. And the last time I went through that was when I was on a holiday in Fiji in 2010. And I was running around at the resort, going downstairs looking for people, and there was people there, workers there, and I'm going, dude, can I buy a cigarette off you, man? Just give me anything, right? And they go, no, we don't have it. I'm like, And so this was the second time I was like that, running around getting tobacco because I was really stressed out. So I noticed that my voice is really rumbly and friggin' I must come across like a jazz singer or something, like someone who's been in the bars for the rest of life, and so I apologize for that, but can't be helped, man. It's just as croaky, and I realize it's probably gonna someday it's probably not even gonna be able to be croaky. It's probably but I'm just glad that I can still speak. So, and hopefully you guys don't mind the raspiness of my voice. So this guy writes, right? And I'm going to take it to the video soon because I have it jacked up there. So this dude, Kika, who's a top contributor, says, so he found the link from YouTube, right? This dude lost his job, his art job. He has a degree in graphic design, man. I have a degree in filmmaking, digital filmmaking. So I know it's taken him 3 years to get that or more. And it's hard work. The hours you spend, and it's just, I never want to go through that again. 8 years. Wait, look, whoa, I'm wrong. Let's go back to this. I just noticed it was 8 years. So it goes, he has a degree in graphic design and worked as a graphic designer for 8 years since he was 19. So he's 27 now. So 6 years in the same company, right? 6 years in the same company doing web design. Since everything he did is owned by the company, they took all of his templates, fed it into the machine, and something that takes him 30 minutes is produced in 30 seconds. When I was at film school, they said they would own everything that I did while I was at school. So I never, apart from the school work, I made sure that I never did any work that was part of outside of my education while I was at school. And we were so angry because we're in New Zealand. New Zealand, we like our rights. We like our ownership of our property. We believe in owning things. This is something I don't know why people around the world don't understand and are really easily willing to give up what they have and that belongs to them, right? So, but here in New Zealand, property rights are one of the key things. You own your home, you protect your home. The bank can't take it away. Even if you default on your mortgage, there's going to be ways to fix that, right? So when I got told that at school, I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm not doing any logo designs here. I'm going to do it at home. I'm going to do it on my break, away from whenever some teacher's able to look over me, because I felt like that. I was like, you're overreaching, right? Because I'm paying for the school, right? I'm paying for my time here. Thing was, there was a zero fees thing, but it cost me like about 30 grand to live there in that time. Between my wife and I, we spent all our income there because you had to live, eat, pay for petrol, rent, power bills, phone bills, Wi-Fi. Everything was spent in that city, right, while studying there, because we went away from home, down to the bottom of the thing. So seeing this guy, that 6 years of his everything's ever created while there is just fed into the machine, to the AI. And this is what I was just talking about earlier about the fact that, and I'm going to bring that friggin' that, because I talked about this. There's another post that came out about a record, like an album cover, right? This would definitely be of interest to you, Nathaniel. So they actually won an award for an album cover done by AI. And we're seeing a lot of that. Musicians should be the last people to be accepting of AI, right? Because they'll be the first people that people, like if you're doing AI art, that means that art on that album cover does not belong to that band, right? Just like if you created AI art, AI music or film, it does not belong to you because you use other people's work to create it without their rights. So therefore, you cannot have copyright or ownership of the AI property, like AI fart art that you created, right? Because you didn't create it anyway. It was a machine that created it, stealing from everybody else's. So he goes, all right. So they took all of his templates, fed it into the machine, and everything that takes him, we just read that. He predicts that within a year, more and more graphic designers will lose their jobs. He's worried about how he will pay his bills. And like I said, Tomas's, my artist on my manga, his friend lost her job to AI. Everyone's like, nobody's going to take your job. No. Yeah, but they did. And this is what's happening. Now, I guess I'm kind of like, I need to eat my words as well on this, because when because I was pissed off at the American English dub artists, right, who have been like ruining anime for decades with their own agendas, with their own political leanings, and their own propaganda, right? Western propaganda that they believe into Japanese art. And I'm like, manga as well as manga translations, right? So if you're, if you read the fan translations, you'll find that they're more legit compared to the, like, say something like buying from Viz, right? Buying a actual printed manga that's been translated into English by these, these propagandists, ideologically led, brain dead twits imposing themselves on somebody else's artwork, right? The fan translations are much more better. So that's why pirating is more high on that. So for me, like when they got revealed that these, that the Japanese were going to go half and half, right? Have a human work with the machine to translate it into as 99.9% accurate to the translation as possible. I was like, yeah, what? Let's do that, right? Because if you are trying to impose your own values and your own beliefs on somebody else's artwork, yeah, you deserve to have your job taken away, to give it to somebody else, right? Because then you should know better to treat other people's work with respect. And this is what it comes down to. This, it's about respect, right? So they basically took his work, and of course, it's his template. He worked for them. They own it, right? And so they can get away with it. So I might as well just open up in here rather than go to the other one. So here we go. So let's watch this video.
Hello. I don't know if anyone does live commentaries anymore, where they talk about something that's happened in their life and the background is, gameplay. But that's what this is today. So something a bit different. It's still Halo gameplay, as you'd expect from this channel. But the topic of discussion is that I just lost my job. And I lost it to AI, which is very unfortunate. I think many people joke about the fact that, AI is going to take all our jobs and we're all going to get replaced, and especially within my industry, which is graphic design. My job, I've been a graphic designer for the past 8 years of my life, and I've worked at this specific company for 6 years. You would think that being one of the longest running employees, being there 6 years, having a wage increase almost every year and being very much valued because I was the only graphic designer left, you'd think they want to keep me on as much as possible. I mean, I barely was allowed to take holiday because I was the only designer. So if I was off, then nobody could cover for me, and the company ended up with work stacking up. However, over the past 3 months, I'd say, I've noticed that my schedule at the company became like less and less cluttered, and it got to the point where I was getting paid for a 7-hour and 30-minute day, and some days only doing 2 hours of work, which obviously was great for me. I loved it. Got up at 9 o'clock because it was work from home as well. I'd do 2 hours of work and I'd have nothing left to do for the rest of the day. Maybe some revisions / amends would come in at like 3 or 4 o'clock. I'd do those for 20-30 minutes, and that'd be my day. I'd essentially do between 2 and 3 hours of work and get paid for 7.5. It was great for like 3 or 4 months. And then, on Monday this week, I got told that I'm being made redundant. And I was thinking, how could this be possible? You clearly need a graphic designer. The company I work at is a marketing agency who does email and web designs for clients. And yeah, I was a bit confused on that one. And then I did a bit of digging, asked a few people, and it turns out basically all of the material that I've provided over the past 6 years is now being fed to AI and templated. So a design that would take me 30 minutes now takes AI 30 seconds. As it's been trained on all my templates. Essentially, I think it just literally reuses my templates, and then they can input the hex codes they want the email or the website design to be, drag and drop in the client's logo, upload the client's font, and boom, it will generate my template, but using their brand assets. And I thought, it makes sense from a business point of view, but it's extremely scummy. It puts me out of a job. My immediate thought was, well, let's go to some competitor companies and see if they're looking for designers. I've looked at between 10 and 15 competitors, and every single other competitor is doing the exact same thing. Some of them even boasting about it on their website and going as far as simply inputting your website URL. It will extract all the assets and learn about that website, and then artificially generate email and web templates for your brand. That is insane. Like, email and web designers are going to be completely out of jobs this year. Like,
So you can check out the rest of there, because I don't want to, content steal from this guy. But do check out that. So he lost his job, right, after 6 years of working for this company. That's Nate Street. And they basically took everything he had created over 6 years, right, full-time working for them, and chucked it into an AI machine. So all his skills, all his knowledge, all his templates, all his, his style, specifically as a graphic designer, his knowledge, just basically got shoved into an AI. And like he said, within a year, a lot of those people who work in the graphic design industry will be out of their work, right? Or have them probably end up with minimum hours. And he's not the only one. Comic art is the same thing. If you go across, the saddest thing I've seen on Kickstarter, right? Because we're going to have our campaign on Kickstarter soon with Robot Nation, right? Is seeing a $20,000 AI comic book, right? When it's created by machine, it's created by prompts. And when you've spent 2 to 3 years on your own comic book to make it, and it's only $1,200 is all you get. And you got questions like, well, are people just okay with rubbish? Is this what YouTube is teaching people, or social media is teaching people, that like it doesn't matter what it is you have. It doesn't matter if it's made by a machine, if it's subpar quality, if the stories are rubbish. As long as it's there, you should consume it. Like, but don't worry about the people who've spent their years, decades, whatever, learning their art form, and to be able to create something of specifically that they love, that they believe in, that's something that they've poured their heart and soul into, that they invested years and years of their life and money into, right? I mean, when you look at, if you're able to, right, or in front of me and to my left, there, here, there's books, there's comics, there's graphic novels, hardcovers, trade paperbacks, single issues, like boxes and boxes and shelves of them. That's an investment into what I'm doing right now, which is creating comic books, right? And so when I hear people talk about artists don't matter, and I know there's someone very prominent who feels that way in that comic scene, who isn't really a creator, because a creator when you talk to a creator, right? They have a passion for what they do. They know exactly what their comic book is about, what the character is about. Why did you change that character to be this? Why is there red hair on that character? Why did you change it to blue instead of a green top? Why did you take away the shoulder pads and put like arrows there instead? Why did you have the hair go, have a little flick in it? Stuff like that. Or why does she have boots instead of shoes? Stuff like that, right? Because it's more like, because every time you change something, there's a reason behind that change. You're not just copy pasting from somebody else. Because there's enough characters out there that look very similar to everybody else. And when you're actually trying to come up with an idea about the character or the story, you're trying to go out of your way as a creator to be as different as possible. Yeah, and that's basically, yeah, you're right, Nathaniel. People have been okay with it for a long time with rubbish and poor quality. Like, I mean, music, there are, like, for every, say, 5 great bands, there's 95 that aren't that great, right? But then there are also bands and groups that have been pushed by the industry to be, with all the money behind it. And I feel like that's what's kind of like, it feels like with this AI stuff, it's like the industry, which is which is the corporate entity, is the one that's trying to push it so they can make money off the back of it, right? It's what we call like corporate like yeah, more like 9,500, yeah, 5 out of 9,500, yeah. So and the other thing now is like there is like AI music, right? But here's the thing, guys. Nobody can own AI products. So if you see an AI comic book out there, you can basically rip it and send out to everybody. And whoever that art on it is nobody's art, right? Well, is everybody's art, basically, because they've copied somebody's artwork to make their comic book. So like I said, so when I see someone who's actually like our guys on here, right? Like you look at some of this work here, the people that I've actually backed, right? Like just today, it's got 5 days left. Do check it out, Sig and Joe. I interviewed Warren the other day on our chat. On here. So do check out that interview, so you can see what this is about. How they develop the story, how they come up with the designs and stuff like that. So I didn't go too much into it because it's more of a conversational piece than an interview about the product. But it's really good stuff. Like I'm kind of one of the things that I really was interested in for him was the fact that he's colorblind, and that for me makes, I guess in a sense, that makes it special that someone who's the very medium he loves, he's colorblind to that medium, a medium that's all about color. It's about what I mean, right? So, but do check out his work. I mean, I just bought the digital because I'm here in New Zealand, and every time I buy something, it's going to cost me $30 to get it down here. However, he's got 4 issues coming out, 3 issues, or he's working on the 4th issue now. So I'm hoping that by the time they get to the 4th one, I can buy the whole lot at one time, if he's doing a trade, right? So there is that. Now, there's other people that we've supported because we believe in the work, right? Because there's some amazing work out here, and I think the problem here is a lot of people don't realize, this is weird. It says I supported 4, back 9. The other day I was saying I was supported 4. Yeah, I don't know why I was saying it was back 4, but yeah, maybe they're not finished yet or something. But yeah, see, so when you look at something like this, right, handmade, but made by a human, right, and you end up finding out like there's somebody else out there that possibly could have taken his artwork and chucked it into AI, and yeah, I know. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, it took a while to come up, so I was wondering what was going on. So these are all like updates on this just letting you guys know what, what's going on. Feedback here on the pages, artwork, it kind of feels like a crossover between manga and comic book. Not straight up manga and not straight up comic book. So yeah. So this is like about 16 days ago, there's an update here. But the thing is that like this, all these images that are out here, right, online are now being basically fed into an AI. And that AI is just taking it, and people who are making comic books using these, all our artwork that we've spent years dedicated to creating our comic book, right? And next thing you know, that comic books art is being used to teach AI how to create pages of comic books artificially, with no credit, no funds being given to the artists, original creators. And it's sad because it means that, like, not only are we losing, you can say, well, we'll let the market decide, but the market doesn't know that what they're seeing is fake, that is produced by AI art. They don't know what to tell, what's good or not. Like, as Elliot was saying, for a long time, people just haven't listened to enough music to know what's good music. Just like with comic books, they just accept whatever's there because there's a very big influencer saying this is what comic books are, right? Because they haven't actually gone out and looked out in the shelves in the bookstores. They say, that's how a good comic book should look like, right? Look at the pages, look at how it's arranged, look at all the aspect ratios, or not aspect ratios, perspective, right? How it all, where it zooms, where's the right place it comes out of. I'm really bad at describing art. That's why I usually don't try to describe art. But you can see, like, when you look at this page here, you can see how it's sort of like, if you can see how, like, the bars up, the side here, and there's a really cool looking page, right? You can see how even down here, like the test tubes and stuff, how it's all beautifully colored, and just the way this page is arranged, it looks like that alone could make an amazing poster as a promo page. Like, the thing is, a lot of people don't understand what is good art and what isn't. Don't know what is good comic book and what isn't, so they'll accept whatever somebody tells them is good or isn't. So here's something from sorry, that's the wrong one. So
going to get worse. Despite how grim this seems, there may be a light at the end of the tunnel. There are two important silver linings that I'll discuss at the end of.
So
the animation industry is on the brink of collapse, and no one is talking about it. There are 5 major reasons why the industry is at a breaking point, and the 5th thing is by far the one that will harm its workers the most. And the reality is, it's only going to get worse. Despite how grim this seems, there may be a light at the end of the tunnel. There are 2 important silver linings that I'll discuss at the end of this video that will lead towards a better future for animation, one created by the artists, not the shareholders. We are at a pivotal moment where the animation industry's future hangs in balance, threatened by AI and corporate strategies. This is a wake-up call for creators and supporters alike to understand the stakes and champion a movement that places artists at the forefront of innovation. So who exactly is at risk, and how can we collectively steer towards a more artist-driven future? Before we answer that, I need you to help me spread this message as widely as possible. Please tap the like button on this video and share this video with a friend. I want to use my platform to increase the awareness of the animation industry's current state and the worsening conditions if we remain passive. But I can only do that with your help. If you don't know much about the animation industry, the fact that it's in crisis mode might come as a surprise to you. Movies like Across the Spider-Verse, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Mutant Mayhem have been successful, seemingly indicating a really bright future ahead for these new styles of animation. Even the Mario movie made over $1 billion, so you might assume animation is doing pretty well. Behind the scenes, the last few years of animation have actually been some of the most challenging in its history, setting the stage for a story that's far more complex than the box office office numbers suggest. When the pandemic hit in 2020, it destroyed many jobs in Hollywood, since much of the work was on set or in person. The animation industry, however, was a different story. Since the nature of our jobs was mostly computer work anyway, we were back up and running within a week. Through 2020 and into 2021, the studios, desperate for content, increased their investment in animation because this was the easiest type of content to create fully remote. There was also a larger demand for it as animation streaming increased by 22% during the pandemic, the most of any category. With all this money pouring into animation, a bubble started to form. This was the height of the streaming wars, and studios were looking to get as much content as they could to entice people to sign up. If you recall, it was an animated film, Trolls World Tour. Trolls World Tour. Trolls World Tour. Trolls World Tour. If you recall, it was an animated film, Trolls World Tour, that was the first movie to release on digital at the same time as its original theatrical release. This strategy yielded great returns for Universal. Netflix ramped up their own animation division, with Ted Sarandos promising to release 6 new animated features every year. For those of you that don't know much about animation, that is crazy. Under Bob Chapek, Disney encouraged Pixar to create more content for Disney Plus, including their first TV series. Warner Brothers was pushing HBO Max hard and original animation like Scoob and the Harley Quinn show. It really felt like animation was finally being taken seriously, but a lot has changed in the last 4 years. You see, there's a perfect storm on the horizon. The stars are aligning and they're about to release the Titans. There are several circumstances that are all coming to a head at once. The next few years might be the worst time in the history of the animation industry, and it's for the following 5 reasons. The first reason is that the studios have finally realized that streaming services are a money pit. The past decade in animation resembled a gold rush. Streaming services, flush with investor cash, flooded the market with content, competing for subscribers in a winner-take-all mentality. The pandemic showed an increase in demand for animated content, and studios, eager for a piece of the pie, staffed up its animation teams and greenlit a high volume of animated projects for streaming. As with most gold rush mentalities, the reality of the situation was much different than these prospectors had in mind. It turns out that, to nobody's surprise, the economics of streaming are simply not as lucrative as theatrical releases, and so the increase in spending during the pandemic became a bubble, and now the workers that were staffed up with false promises are feeling the repercussions. Studios traditionally made a significant portion of their profits from the box office sales. Streaming, on the other hand, relies on subscription fees, which are split with the platform and often don't generate the same level of returns, especially considering the high cost of producing this high-quality content. If you've been wondering why your Netflix subscription increased 200% in the last 7 years, or why you can't share your password anymore for Disney Plus, it's mostly because these studios are seeing the writing on the wall. The bubble is bursting. Studios have shifted their spending priorities to invest in projects that they know will yield high returns, aka remakes and sequels. This also means that spending a lot of money on original animation is no longer a priority for these studios. In fact, the CEO of Paramount, Brian Robbins, came out and said it. We're not going to release an expensive original animated movie and just pray people will come. To which Guillermo del Toro responded, "Dear Lord." But Brian here is not alone in thinking this. The most popular animated series today is currently Cocomelon, a show with famously cheap production costs and a subpar animation quality. But here's a little insider secret. The studios don't care about the quality. The only thing they care about is that Cocomelon is the #3 most subscribed YouTube channel, and it generates millions of dollars in revenue. Studios want to spend as little as possible on animated content moving forward. By the way, there's apparently a Cocomelon movie in the works at DreamWorks. I had to find that out while researching for this video, and now you have to live with that information too. The second reason that the animation industry is at its worst point in history is that almost every single studio is currently engaged in massive layoffs. Despite previously embarking on massive hiring sprees during the pandemic, studios now appear lost in their next steps and responding paradoxically with widespread layoffs as their go-to strategy. In November of 2023, Netflix Animation announced its plan to lay off 1/3 of its feature animation team. They have reduced the amount of promised yearly animated films from 6 down to 2. Netflix also shelved many of its film projects, which will never see the light of day. Disney stated that in January 2024 that it's laying off 20% of Pixar, reversing its decision to make animated series for Disney Plus. This is mostly because Disney lost almost $1 billion the year before, but that's not all.
So you can watch the rest. You can watch the rest of that. I've put the link in the chat. Go check it out. Who's this guy? Let me just bring this up. This is not Know the Robot. Know the Robot. Know the Robot. Robot to know. Know the Robot. Do go check it out. Check out his channel. you know, now that I know he's, you know, I'll go out there and check out know that because of animation and stuff, because as you know, I love anime and stuff like that. So just in finishing here, I think, let me show you some artwork just before I go on to finish off here. This is like recent work that's been done for our characters, just to do like pin-ups and cards and stuff like that, and put a bit, you know, trading cards in the back of them. This is this shaman from our comic book, which is the tortoise. I'll put the link up soon for that, so you can buy the dollar version for the new the first of the entry chapter. I would say not the original, not the updated chapter, but the entry chapter, right? So this is Anio, the warrior, the chief's daughter. Chief's daughter, Anio. So she's a warrior, right? Female warrior for their tribe, and of course this is the shaman of the Wabu. He's, you know, he's, it's kind of like you know, it's an interesting tribe. I don't want to give too much away because, you know, he shows up at issue 2, and so does Anyo. So do check it out. So I'll give the link right now for the tortoise. The tortoise is really cool. It's like our first anime, and the link, where is the link? So the link is here. Nope, wrong place. So there's the link for the tortoise. It is, if I can get to it, it's available on our web store for $1. Let me bring it up so you guys can see it. Because I wanted you guys to have an entry amount to go in and check it out on. So 99 cents even, right? So this is it here. It's chapter 1 of our manga. You get to see, you know, get some material art story. You see it, and it's 36 pages, 28 pages of story. Usually with a comic book, it's about 22 pages. So we put extra 8 pages, I should say. No, extra 6 pages in it, right? So this is a mature comic book, and it's because later on there'll be, you know, adult. It's got adult themes in it. There'll be some horror and supernatural content and some nudity as well. So the story about the tortoise is about Amber, right? I noticed that Thomas was calling her Amy this morning, but Amber, and I was going, is that what her name is? No, it's Amber. Because, you know, when somebody says it enough times, you kind of think that must right. It's a bit like AI, right? If you hear everybody saying AI is a new thing, you think, yeah, it is, but it's not. Right. So Amber, a 20-something from New Zealand with a lifelong love for turtles, especially her pet Marlo, sets out on an overseas trip in search of a tribe called the Wabo. Right. The secretive Southeast Asia and Oceania, Indonesians supposedly have an interesting myth about turtles, and Amber decides to go and see if it's real. Her fiancé Kirsten joins her on the working holiday in the tropical islands. So not only do they just go for holiday, they decide they're going to make it a working holiday, right? And you see a bit of that in there as well. Now, we'll be releasing the print version of this with all of TC Rotier's art, which is this one here, right? You get, let me pop that up a bit. Right. So you see TC's work compared to Levi's artwork, which is most of the artwork in chapter 1 of this version, this intro version, right, is Levi's work. Later on, when right now Tomas is finishing chapter 2, so he'll be coming back and doing number 1 again, because I wanted to have all Levi's artwork when we go to print. Right, so her fiance joins her, right? The story is told in a movie style setting with black and white art from Levi. However, for this first issue, which includes art from TC Rotier, who is currently illustrating, which I just showed you with the characters, right? Anio and Shaman for issue 2. And even here I say that we will be releasing a print version with all of TC to Masters artwork at a later stage for the print release, right? With safe for work and not safe for work. Single issue as well as a collected manga, right? The other thing about this is that this is also part of the Plunge universe that I'm creating, and so this is like the slice of life horror supernatural story that's part of this wider Plunge universe that we're creating, which has the Robot Nation comic in it as well. Excuse me, which is right here. So you guys can check out that as well. I think I've got a better clip for that. So you can check out the Robot Nation link, I should say, here. Really appreciate it if you guys can check it out. But also do check out our Kickstarter, and please follow our Kickstarter. I'm not sure how many people are following it. I'm not sure how you actually know if people are following you or not. Right. Is there like a place we can find out how many people are following you? All right. Anyway, so this is our Kickstarter page. Please follow our Kickstarter as we finish off here, and hopefully you guys can join me next time on this What's Cooking with Plunge Comics. It is now, I think it's 3 o'clock in the morning. 11 past 3 in the morning. So thank you for joining me. I don't know what time it is wherever you are, but thank you. I really appreciate you guys coming and hanging out and checking out our channel. Do share our links out. I would really appreciate it, because we want to grow the channel, which means we can grow the audience, which means hopefully we'll grow our customer base, our supporters, our fans, right, of the comic books that we're putting out. But do check out the link here for, in the chat for this one's here is for the Robot Nation, and of course the other one for the manga. So wherever you are, be well, be safe, guys. Have a good day, good week. And as always say, right, if you've got a loved one nearby, give them a hug and a kiss. Let them know that you care. And if they're not nearby, right, use the internet. You got social media, man. Let your fingers do the talking or walking or whatever, right? I like to share memes, like to share songs, comedy pieces, or whatever artwork to brighten people's day. If the more of us can do that, I guess everybody will have a better day, right? And forget their little moment of stress in their life for that moment. So thank you for joining me. Ka kite anō. Have a good week, guys, and get creative. Go check out some indie comics. Do check out our own our own page here, which is check out Rising Sun Publishing, man. We've got so many great artwork from so many great artists, and I'll leave you with that.